Okay. I think everyone can hear me, no? Bhalke dekha paisa aru shunao paisa sage? Okay. Okay, let's start the class. I'm sorry. Okay, the volume komise, no? Etia shuna paisa nai? Okay. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to continue the lesson, right? Ami ki holoke korise last class we have been talking about the phases of phases of sexual reproduction, no? Phases of sexual reproduction has been divided into 3 phases, and what are the 3 phases? Pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. We have completed the pre-fertilization part and we have completed the post-fertilization, we have completed the fertilization part. What we have started with is post-fertilization. Post-fertilization, what we have said or what we have learned is something about the zygote, right? What we remember from the last class is, we remember that whenever we are talking about post-fertilization, after the zygote has been formed, because we know zygote is a product of fertilization, right? So after the zygote is formed, the changes that occurs afterwards is something that is included under post fertilization. And to be precise, what we are talking about is the formation of the embryo. Our embryo formation process took ami ki boli kom embryogenesis boli kom, right? In the last class we have also talked about zygote being the first cell of the organism who reproduces sexually. Sexually reproducing organisms bilakor first cell boli kole, if the question is asked what would be the answer is zygote, right? Development of the zygote, what we said, it depends on the type of life cycle that the organism undergoes. Life cycle keita asile, there were 3 types of life cycle, that is haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle and diplohaplontic life cycle. Exactly. Haplontic life cycle was called as what? It was called as gametic meiosis, sporic meiosis, zygotic meiosis ki koisile. Haplontic life cycle, it is called as zygotic meiosis. Next one, diplontic, was called as gametic meiosis, and the diplohaplontic was called as sporic meiosis, right? So today we are going to talk about embryogenesis. Right? What is embryogenesis? The formation of the embryo. Formation of the embryo. Ar kune form kore? From the zygote. So the process of formation of the embryo from the zygote is called as embryogenesis. During this process, what happens is the zygote undergoes mitotic cell division and there occurs cell differentiation, right? So embryo formation of সময়ত কি হ'ব লাগিব যে zygote, so embryo to কোনে develop কৰিব? Zygote develop কৰিব, and zygote, what is a zygote? Is nothing but the product of fertilization, and in short what we can say is it is just one cell. From that single cell a group of cells is formed, and that group of cells is called as what? Embryo, right? So he eta cellor পৰা যেতিয়া group of cells form কৰিব লাগিব তেতিয়াহলে obviously cell division should occur, and what is the cell division we are talking about? It is always mitotic. So the question that is asked is, in the formation of the embryo, zygote undergoes meiosis, it undergoes mitosis. Obviously it undergoes mitotic division. So eta cellor পৰা বহুত বিলাক cell form কৰিব, and that group would be called as an embryo. Similarly, the zygote also undergoes cell differentiation. Zygote or পৰা কি হয়? Embryo form কৰে, hey group of cells or cell differentiation. Differentiation is a word that you all have already studied. 3টা word asile: differentiation, redifferentiation and dedifferentiation. These 3 words code পঢ়ি আহিছিল plant growth and hormones. There was a chapter, exactly, class 11 of etu chapter asile differentiation, dedifferentiation aru redifferentiation. Now the point is, let's have a rough idea about these terms. What we understand by differentiation? Differentiation mane ki? Aru eta cell differentiate ketia hoy ba ketia ami hei cell to differentiate buli kom? Differentiation mane ki? So a proper definition is something that you don't need to remember. what is differentiation is from that group of cells specialized tissues or specialized organs jodi form kore, that process is called as differentiation. Or in other words, if that portion of, if that group of cells becomes mature to do a specific function, that is what is called as differentiation. For example, we can take the example of suppose we are talking about liver, right? Human liver kotha jodi ko, tat ki hoy, the liver is formed from one cell, right? Hey, eta cellor pra edinotere 1 minute liver gute organ to form kora nasile, right? So hey, eta cellor pra divide kori group of cells form korise, and ultimately jeta structure to form korise, they started performing the function, and once they started performing the function, at that time you can say that the cell got differentiated. Right? In short, what we can say is they ultimately permanent structure eta form korila, aru he permanent structure to nijor jonto specific function ase, he specific function to koribole arambho koribo. That is what is called as cell differentiation. Is the point understood? Right? And de-differentiation or redifferentiation ki asile, these three words generally it is related. Something that we have studied is about secondary growth in plants, right? In secondary growth, what we have said is je normally ki hoy, je we know meristematic cells convert itself to permanent cells. Our permanent cells bilake generally divide no kore, but there are certain permanent cells that divide again. Is the point understood? Yeah, so eta cell ase, he cell to e jetia permanent hoi jabo, permanent hoi joar pisot ki koribo, je permanent hoi joar pisot he tar nijor function to koribo. At that time, what you can say is the cell got differentiated, or the cell got permanent, or it became permanent, it is conducting its own function, right? So once a cell gets permanent, generally permanent tissues do not divide, kintu ketiaba kisman permanent tissues divide kore, ar jetia he permanent tissues to divide kore, mane differentiated condition to ako jetia divide kore, right? Divide korile tahate ki hobo? De-differentiation hobo, right? He de-differentiation to ako jetia matured hobo, that process is called as what? Redifferentiation. Right? So differentiation, de-differentiation and redifferentiation. Formation of specialized tissues and organs is called as what? Differentiation. So we are talking about the embryo formation. Embryo kune form kore, zygote to form kore. A zygote ki kore? Zygote is, the starting of a zygote is obviously one single cell. Cell to mitotic division hoy, a group of cells form kore, and hey group to ki hoy differentiated hoy jay. Next, morphogenesis also occurs. Morphogenesis, mane ki, what is morphogenesis? Formation of morphological parts is called as morphogenesis. For example, if you are talking about a seed, hey, seed to radicle will develop and the plumule will develop. A duta se part hoise, we can identify the radicle, we can identify the plumule, right? A je part ami specifically dekha paiso, morphologically distinct part ketaman dekha paiso, that is what is called as morphogenesis. You form or they will form specific morphological parts. Or hey specific parts bilak ami identify koribo parim that this is the shoot, this is the root, etc. This is what is called as morphogenesis, right? Next, food for the developing embryo comes from, so we know that the zygote has converted to the embryo and the embryo has to grow, because from the embryo the baby plant or that organism will grow. In that case, the embryo always needs food to develop. The question is, food to kopra pabo, right? As the embryo is developing, it requires food. Or food to kopra pabo, it comes from, no, we have a word called as endosperm, right? Endosperm is, yeah, I'm just talking about plant, right? So since we are talking about the embryo development in case of plants, what happens is this embryo will get the food from the endosperm, right? Now what is endosperm? What is endosperm? We have read about endosperm, we have a rough idea. Endosperm ki hoy, these are nothing but tissues inside the cell, sorry, inside the seed. Right? So these are certain tissues that are found inside the seed. Are a tissues bilak, or what is the function? It gives nutrition to the developing embryo. Is the point understood? Right? So Yeah, another point about endosperm is generally endosperm formation is a characteristic of angiosperms, right? Lower plants hot endosperm we do not get it because it is something related with seed. Our seed buli koa loge loge we are only concerned with the seed plants, right? And what are the seed plants in the plant kingdom? Gymnosperms and angiosperms. They have been placed under what? As seed plants, right? And we know some plants will have naked seed and some plants will have covered seed. Naked seed कार থাকিবो gymnosperms or covered seed कार থাকিবो angiosperms, right? Yeah, so endosperm formation is a unique characteristic of angiosperms, but in gymnosperms also we see endosperm, but there is a difference between the two. Difference ki ase ami pisot porhim. Angiospermot jonto endosperm pao aru gymnospermot jonto endosperm pao duita different hoy, right? Eta before fertilization form kore in gymnosperms. In angiosperms it is formed after fertilization, right? So if the question comes, formation of endosperm is a unique characteristic of which group of plants, at that time if you write about gymnosperms the answer would be wrong. The answer is obviously angiosperms. But that does not mean that gymnosperms or angiosperm 9. Endosperm ase, we will talk about it later. Next is, whenever we are talking about endosperm, we have to talk about its ploidy also. Ploidy mane the sets of chromosomes that is present, right? So ploidy ki? It is triploid. Triploid, or it is trisend, no? Yeah. And how is the endosperm formed, or where is the endosperm formed? Who helps in the formation of endosperm? Ki asile okkoman idea? Okay, very good. So if you are talking about this, suppose we are talking about a ovule, right? Ovule or ki thake? Integuments thake? Thake na thake? Right? If suppose this is a rough diagram of a ovule, specific, right? And this is what? Nothing but the ovary, right? So if suppose this is the diagram, A2 ki hobo, this is the ovary, right? A2 ki hobo, this is the ovule, right? And in the ovule, what we know, yate ki thakibo, the egg apparatus, since yeah, we know if you are talking about the ovule, it will have the micropylar area and it will have the sellageal area also. What is the micropyle? It is that area through which the pollen tube will enter. Our gute ovule too, it will be covered with the integuments except one part, and that part is called as micropyle. And in the micropyle area, ki thake? Egg to thake, and zygote formation kot hoy. Obviously, jod egg ase tate zygote formation hoy jay. So if you are talking about this, in this yate egg apparatus to thakibo, yate egg apparatus to fertilize hoy pele yate ki form koribo? Zygote to form koribo, no? Yeah. So yate zygote to form koribo. Opposite side of ki thakibo? Antipodal cells, and the antipodal cells will generally degenerate, right? Yeah. And here, what is this? This is something called as PEN. Yeah, polar nuclei. Before fertilization, it is called as polar nuclei. After fertilization, it is called as primary endosperm nucleus. Primary endosperm nucleus. Etu to eta nucleus hoy no. Nucleus to ako ki hobo. Okol to nucleus point of view we do not speak. We talk it in the sense of a cell. So primary endosperm nucleus will form what? Primary endosperm cell. And primary endosperm cell will ultimately form ki? Endosperm. Right? Ekhini ami jano. Next is again coming back to this. Egita ki hoy? Integuments. Right? Etu whole wall of the ovary, this is, we'll talk about it, thalamus, funicle, hiblak ami pisot kotha padim. Right? Now, what we know is after fertilization, the ovary gets converted to ki form kore? Fruit, ovule gets converted to seed, pen gets converted to endosperm, integuments gets converted to integuments get converted to ki form kore? Integuments bilak. Integuments ki hoy? The covering of the ovule is called as integuments. Generally, angiosperms or kekhon integuments thake, it is always called as bitegmic or the presence of two integuments, right? So integuments bilak ki hole convert hoi jabo? Nohoy. Seed coat. Because obviously this ovule will form the seed and this covering would form that seed coat. Testa, tegmen, jedi monot ase, heblak words asile no? So this is a diagram just to give an idea what is the endosperm. So we are talking about the zygote. Zygote is a product of fertilization. This zygote will divide and redivide and form a group of cells and ultimately yate ki form koribo? Embryo to form koribo. A embryo to karone food lagibo, food kune dibo, e je endosperm bilak form korise, e endosperm e ki dibo? It will provide food to the developing embryo. Is the point clear? Buji paisa? Okay, so just to have an idea, what is the endosperm? Our endosperm to come ki. Not necessary each and every seed will have an endosperm, no? Jedi endosperm ase, the food would be given or provided by the endosperm. If the seed is non-endospermous, tetihale food kune dibo. Seeds has been classified into two categories, that is endospermous and non-endospermous. If the seed has an endosperm, then the embryo will get the food from the endosperm. If the seed does not have an endosperm, even then the embryo will have to grow and it will require food. The question is, hekini homoyot embryo food kune dibo? Endosperm to nai? No, it will give, it is, the answer is cotyledons, right? Jedi endosperm na thake, tetihale cotyledons e food diye, jedi endosperm thake, tetihale endosperm e food diye. Another point that you have just said is something called as nucellus. What is nucellus? The oldest cells, no? Right? Nutritive cells, no? Are from these nucellar cells, one of the cell of the nucellus will become big and form the ovule. Who forms the ovule? It is one of the cell of the nucellus that forms the ovule, right? Tamane ki kom, ami ovule junki jagat ba junki surrounding cells ase, he cells kini kami ki boli kom nucellus. What is the work of the nucellus? To provide food for the growing ovule, right? Aru endosperm e kak food diye? Embryo tok food diye, right? Right. So the details about this structure is something that is present in the chapter sexual reproduction in flowering plants, right? In that chapter we are going to do it in details. We'll come back to this topic, embryogenesis. Next is development of the zygote, right? Embryo formation kune koribo zygote. How does the zygote develop? Development of zygote could be read under or in the plant group and it could be seen in the animal group also. In case of plants, what happens is, we know the zygote forms the embryo inside the embryo sac. Ekintu ami janu, right? In case of animals, the zygote is formed, ক'ত form koribo? Plants to ami gom palu. Yeah, zygote is formed either inside the female body or outside, no? Yeah, we have talked about external fertilization, internal fertilization, right? So we are talking about now zygote could form koribo either inside the female body or it will form outside. From this point, what we can say is, on the basis of this statement, animals are divided into three categories. Animals ki korise? Tinta category divide korise ki? Oviparous, yeah. Oviparous, viviparous, aru ovoviviparous. When we talk about oviparous, we know we are talking about egg laying organisms, right? Examples ki reptiles, birds, etc. Another point that you have to remember is they have calcareous shell, calcium thaka shell thake, no? So these are the points that you have to remember. Examples of reptiles and birds, very common. Talking about viviparous, they give birth. And what is the best example? Mammals, no? Okay, coming to the third category, that is ovoviviparous. In this case, what we know is there are certain organisms or there are certain animals who produces eggs, but the eggs hatch inside the body of the female, right? So ovoparous ba oviparous ki hoisile je oviparous organisms bilake okol egg lay korisile. Viviparous ki hoisile they give birth to the organism, and if both the process are seen together, that is what is called as oviparous. Ovoviviparous, right? Ovoviviparous hoy ki, but what is the best example of ovoviviparous? Example ki shark, rattlesnake, etc. Right? Generally, from examination point of view, shark is something that is asked about, right? So what happens in ovoviviparous? The female body produces the egg. It helps in the hatching of the egg. Egg to produce egg gilak hatch coat koribo inside the female body, right? It helps in the development of the embryo, but it cannot provide food to the developing embryo. Is the point understood? Ovoviviparous ki hoy? The parent would produce eggs. Where will the eggs hatch? The eggs will hatch inside the female body, right? Where will the embryo develop? The embryo will develop inside the female body itself. Kintu he embryo tuk tahate food dibo nware. Ar food kiho karne dibo nware? Because placenta is absent. Is the point understood? Placenta ki hoy? That group of tissues that are responsible to provide nutrition, that is called as placenta. From plant point of view, ami ki pori ahisilu, we have talked about something called as placentation, if you remember, right? So ovules asile, placentation ki asile, je in that ovary jote placenta kini ase tate ovules kini form korim. If you remember the different types of placentation, marginal placentation, axile, basal, basal placentation, superficial placentation, etc. Right? Eta ki asile, we have talked about that pea pod also, no? If suppose this is the pea, aru eblak ki hol pea pods, no? Etu placentation ok ami ki boli kom? Marginal placentation. Why is it called as marginal? Because we know the ovules are present at the margin of the ovary. Now the point is, eta pea pod or ovules khini okol se ei margin to thake jote tote kyo na thake? Why is it called as marginal? We understood because the ovules are present at the margin, right? Now the point is, ovules would ultimately form the seeds, right? So if we take the example of that pea pod, no, eta jodi motor mahor kotha koiso, jodi if you split that pea, we can see the ovules inside, right? Our ovules bilak eta specific jagat thake. The question is, jote jote kyo na thake? If suppose we are drawing this diagram, the ovules are present in this part, right? Kintu ekhini jagat ovule to kyo na thake? Ekhini jagat ovule to kyo na thake? Answer to dibo paribane? Why are the ovules arranged in a particular area? The answer is the ovules are present only in that area where you will find the placenta. Jote placenta khini ase, tathe ovules khini thakibo. So in case of pea, placenta kot ase, marginot ase, hekane ovules bilak kot ase, marginot ase. Is the point understood? This is from something that we have already studied, right? So we'll come back to this. This is not related with this lesson, obviously. We'll come back to ovoviviparous. In this case, what you need to remember, that they are egg laying, right? Sorry, they produce egg. Egg bilak hatch coat hoy inside the female body. Embryo develop coat hoy inside the female body, but they give birth to that offspring. Why? Because they cannot provide the food inside the female body because placenta is absent, right? So this is all about embryogenesis. So ultimately, up till here what we have done is, we have completed the phases of sexual reproduction. Tinta phase asile, right? Pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization, no? Egita bostu ami etialake ki korilo complete korilo. Eta last part of the lesson ki ase parthenogenesis. Right? What is parthenogenesis? It is a modified form of sexual reproduction, or modified version of sexual reproduction. What happens in this process? The egg produces offsprings without fertilization. Right? It is common in plants and animals, like ami examples kisuman janibo lagibo plants or kisuman animals or plants or kisuman examples parthenogenetically. Yeah, the best example is we always talk about banana, no? Banana, pineapple, pineapple, orange, grapes, etc. These are certain examples of parthenogenetically produced plants. As far as animals are concerned, examples could be ants, aphids, turkey, honeybee, etc. Right? So it is common in plants and animals like banana, pineapple. You have to remember the examples. Next we have to talk about types of parthenogenesis. Kiman types ase? Nai poa no? Kiba ta disturb korise no? Common in plants and statement to require, it's something that is very common in plants and animals. For example, so plants are common no hoy, no? So plants or example ki hobo banana, pineapple, orange, grapes, etc. Animals or honeybee hobo pare, aphids hobo pare, turkey hobo pare, right? So these are the examples of animals where you can see parthenogenesis. So types, we will be talking about two types. One is natural parthenogenesis and the other is artificial parthenogenesis, right? Duta type, okay. Tatke besi details malgo yate iman nalage, tothapi jikhin lage, we are going to do it now. Talking about natural parthenogenesis, they are of three types: complete, incomplete, aru pedogenetic. So natural parthenogenesis has been divided under three categories, that is natural, incomplete, complete aru pedogenetic. Complete parthenogenesis of ketaman point that we need to remember is, in this type of organisms, they do not have sexual phase. They do not have the sexual phase. Second point is, they do not have the male partner. So males are absent, sexual phase is absent, so they depend entirely on parthenogenesis, right? So a natural parthenogenesis or artificial parthenogenesis, naturally jodi hoy ba jodi manhue nije korai, jodi human beings are involved, that is called as what? Artificial, no? And natural parthenogenesis has been divided into three: complete, incomplete and pedogenetic. Etia complete or examples. some species of earthworm, lizard, salamander, rock lizard, etc. Right? Next we come to incomplete parthenogenesis. Incomplete parthenogenesis means ki there are certain organisms who will have the sexual phase and sometimes they will reproduce parthenogenetically only also, right? So sexually jodi reproduce koribo pare aru parthenogenetically jodi reproduce koribo pare tenukwa organisms bilakor ki thake incomplete parthenogenesis thake, and can reproduce both sexually and parthenogenetically. Right? So here are examples. First example that we'll talk about is honeybee. Right? So honeybee is an organism that shows ki incomplete parthenogenesis. The information about honeybee that you have to know is honeybee bilake they will lay fertilized egg aru unfertilized egg. So two different types of eggs they can lay. The fertilized egg will get converted to queen aru workers, no? And both of them are females. Yeah, and if you are talking about an unfertilized egg, they will develop into drones, and it is called as male, right? Yeah, they are called as drones. So ultimately in case of honeybee, what we have seen, the drones or the male honeybee is always produced as a result of parthenogenesis, right? So honeybee is an example jone niki sexually reproduce koribo pare aru parthenogenetically. Jodi parthenogenetically produce kore, then they will be producing only the drones, or jodi sexually reproduce kore, they will be producing only the females in the form of queen and workers. So that is the first example of incomplete. There is, yeah, incomplete parthenogenesis or first example ami ki porilo honeybee. Next aru eta example poribo laibo about aphid. Aphids ki kore je depending on the season tahate either sexually reproduce koribo or nohole tahate parthenogenetically reproduce koribo. So season to loi tahator reproduction to change hoy. So in case of aphids, during the spring they will lay fertilized egg aru a fertilized egg bilake ki form koribo females. During summer the females will develop some males and females parthenogenetically. All by itself kisuman ki hobo, kisuman male hobo aru kisuman female hobo. So jeta spring season thakibo teta tahator eggs bilak hatch kori pelai ki form koribo hodai female form koribo. Kintu ei summer season ot ki koribo jun bilak female form korise, they have the capacity to parthenogenetically also produce offsprings. So what they will do, they will produce offsprings or they will lay the eggs, aru eggs bilake ki koribo, it can get converted to a male or it can get converted to a female also. Summer jinto male or female produce korise, these male and female will mate, right? Ar duita jeta mating hobo, they will produce fertilized egg, right? A fertilized egg to hatch in spring season. Aru jeta spring season or hatch koribo, teta tahate ki form koribo? Females. So example to buzi paisa naiswa. We are talking about aphids, right? Aphids bilake or ki kore parthenogenetically tahate reproduce koribo pare or nohole tahate ki here reproduce koribo, sexually reproduce koribo pare. So it depends on what? It depends on the season, right? During the spring season, fertilized egg or pura ki form kore female, and whenever we are talking about fertilized egg, what we are talking about is we are talking about the process of sexual reproduction. Sexually reproduce korar pisot tahate jetia egg to form korile, e egg to ki form koribo female. But during the summer season ki hobo, females will have a capacity to produce either males or females. A males or female junbilak summer season or produces it, tahate mate kori pelai egg produce koribo, aru he egg ba a mating or karone juntu egg produce hoy, he egg to ketia hatch koribo spring on. Aru what we know, spring on jetia egg hatch hoy, he geta ki hobo hodai female. So we can see both the two types, and so aphid is an example of ki incomplete parthenogenesis. Right? Some other examples could be turkey, right? A turkey could be another example. The next example could be wasp, etc., etc. From examination point of view, 18 example are important. That is honeybee, aphids, aru turkey. Next, the third type of ki asile pedogenetic, no? Pedogenetic parthenogenesis. When parthenogenesis is seen in the larva stage. Larva buji pao no? Right? Complete huar agote junto stage hoy, that is called as the larva stage or the young stage, no? When the parthenogenesis is seen in the larva stage itself, then it is called as what? Pedogenetic parthenogenesis. It is commonly seen in liver fluke. Right? Liver fluke ki hoy? Duta larva ase, sporocyst aru radia. It's the name of the larva. Sporocyst larva aru radia larva. Ei duita larva te ki hoy? Parthenogenesis hoy. The complete process of the different stages of the larva is not important from the examination point of view. Maximum question from this point ki ahibo pare, from pedogenetic parthenogenesis, what is pedogenetic parthenogenesis? When it occurs in the larva stage, it is called as pedogenetic parthenogenesis. Best seen in, it is seen in liver fluke. Aru ebar matra eta question ahisile, in which two stages is parthenogenesis seen in case of liver fluke? Jedi jenuka question ahe, in liver fluke, sporocyst aru radia, ei duta stage othe ami ki dekha pao? Parthenogenesis dekha pao. So this is what you need to remember from the types of natural parthenogenesis. Next, parthenogenesis again has been divided. Ebar division to ki korise on the basis of the sex that they produce, right? So parthenogenetically reproduce korile, kori pelai offspring to ki hoise, male hoise ne female hoise, ne it can be either of the two sexes. Based on that, it has again been classified. Natural parthenogenesis on the basis of sex of the offspring has been classified under three categories. The first is Arhenotoky, A-R-H-E-N-O-T-O-K-Y. Next is Teletoky, and the next is Amphitoky. Right? So parthenogenesis hobo or parthenogenesis or karne jedi offspring to hodai male hoy, that process is called as arhenotoky. If the offspring is always a female, that is called as teletotoky. And if the offspring can be either male or female, mane etu eta process of male produce hobo pare ba female produce hobo pare, tetia hale tahator process to ami ki buli kom? Amphitoky buli kom. Right? So arhenotoky ki hoy? Only males are produced. Example could be rotifers, wasp, crustaceans, etc. Teletoky, only females. Example, only females honeybee নহ'ব কাৰণ honeybee to parthenogenetically male produce কৰে no right so only females for example আমি জানো না এফি দিয়াত হ'ব Amphitochi Lacerta yeah we have a long name and that is what is called as rock lizard right it is called as Lacerta armanica saxicola that is the first example the second example is about an Indian snake Typhlina Brahmina this is an Indian snake etc our Amphitochi example hobo aphids right so natural parthenogenesis are a type of classification and what is the classification we are talking about on the basis of the sex of the offspring jedi male hoy it is called as arheno only female it is called as teletochi and if it is both it is called as Amphitochi ইয়াৰ ভিতৰত এইটো দুটা এক্সাম্পল মনত ৰাখিবা that is specially parthenogenesis বুলি ক'লে rock lizard or question to সোধা হয় it is also called as ki Caucasian rock lizard it is also called as scientific name to dighol hoy so অকল rock lizard মনত ৰাখিলে হ'ব বা Caucasian rock lizard মনত ৰাখিলে হ'ব so parthenogenesis divided into two types that is natural and artificial natural আমি দুটা classification পালো now we are talking about artificial parthenogenesis so if you are talking about artificial parthenogenesis what we know we induce the organism to reproduce parthenogenetically ami bisaru ami amar mote he organism to reproduce koribo kintu without fertilization so artificial mane man made keneke koribo pare either it can be done physically yeah or it can be done with the help of chemicals right physically koribo pare chemically koribo pare physical methods like electric shock prick of a needle yeah change in temperature etc so these are the methods through which we can artificially produce and parthenogenetic offspring similarly if you are talking about application of chemicals in the sense it could be fatty acid urea chloroform etc right so basic details of nalage what we need to know is natural and artificial both the methods are present when we are talking about parthenogenesis so this is all about parthenogenesis and good examples jehetu ami man made no examples ki koribo paru something that has been done by human beings eggs of fish salamander turkey etc right so eblak hol jot niki ami experiment to korisu eggs of fish salamander turkey fish we understand turkey we understand what is salamander ki hoy it is a lizard like yeah it is a lizard like animal so here we come to ki bostu artificially jak kora yeah if that is possible if that result is seen then that could also be an example depending on whether it is successful or not right process to correlate no hobo that successful hobo leibo right so ultimately we have come to the end just eta point jani bole leibo we have a term called as sequential hermaphroditism. Hermaphroditism বা hermaphrodite animals, আমি তো জানো no, earthworm, taenia, these are examples of hermaphrodites, right? Hermaphrodites is also called as ki bisexual. We have a term called as sequential hermaphroditism. What is sequential hermaphroditism? Jikono eta organism within its lifespan, if it can change its sex, it is called as sequential hermaphroditism. Means what? The female can get converted to a male in its life cycle, or the male can get converted to a female in its life cycle. That is what is called as sequential hermaphroditism. তার মানে কি? Reversal of sex in the lifespan or in the life cycle. বুঝি পাইছো? Reversal of sex. And when we are reading this, দুটা examples জানিব লাগিব. First is we have to talk about coral reef fish, right? Coral reef fish, or what we have to know is this is a fish that lives in a harem. Harem বুজি পাওনে? What is a harem? According to Roja bilakor harem asil no, you have only one male surrounded by all the females. That is what is called as harem, right? So this coral reef fish also lives in a harem. So there is just one male fish surrounded by all the female fish. So he used to live there, and once if that male fish dies, then what happens is the largest female of that group gets converted to a male. That is what is called as sequential. Right? One male asile, male surrounded by female asile. In that group, male keita eta female besi. Jedi he male fish to mori jai, tete hale ki hobo? The largest fish will get converted into a male fish. So this is what is called as sequential hermaphroditism. Second example is oyster. In case of oyster species also, what happens is, yate ki hoisile, the female got converted into a male. Yate ki hoy, the large male কি হলে কনভার্ট হয়ে যায়, ফিমেল হলে কনভার্ট হয়ে যায়, right? What is the reason behind this? When the male can get converted to female, then the egg laying capacity will induce, and as a result the number of their population will increase. So iman details of nalage, just remember the term called as sequential hermaphroditism. It is a phenomenon in which the organism can reverse its sex, right? What are the best example? Coral reef fish aru oyster species. Kiba doubts asil niki? Nai. So ultimately what we have done is we have completed the first lesson, that is reproduction in organisms. So etia ami ki korim, we will just try to see some questions. Say ya etu lesson number kenuka dhoroner questions ahise. Ketaman question discuss korim, just see whether you can answer or not. Can you see the board properly? Single celled animals are said to be immortal because, I think we remember this statement, no? Single cell animals bilakok ki boli koy? Immortal boli koy. What is immortal? Someone that never dies is called as what? Immortal, right? Ihotok immortal boli kyo koy? The options that are given are, they grow indefinitely, in size, they can tolerate change in temperature, they can reproduce throughout their lifespan, and The last option is they continue to live as their daughter cells. So this is the question. You have 4 options. Answer B ne D. The last one. Exactly. The answer is the last one. Since they live or they can continue living as their daughter cell, so they are said to be immortal. Next question. Clones are morphologically similar, genetically similar, both ne none. Yeah, clones are both morphologically and genetically similar, right? The next question is, the terminal irreversible change, the terminal irreversible change, irreversible stage, not change, irreversible stage of aging is called, it is called senescence. Very good. Asexual reproductive structure found in penicillium. Exactly. Very good. It is conidia. 5. Gamule formation is seen in sponges. Right? It's so nice that you all have studied. Very nice. Halke pori thaka. Next, self-fertilization occurs in, self-fertilization kot hoy, bisexual flower, unisexual flower, dioecisim condition ne none. Self-fertilization occurs in, the option is, exactly, self-fertilization kot hoy, bisexual ne unisexual, dioecious ne none. So answer would be self-fertilization ko dekha pao, bisexual. What is bisexual? Bisexual ki bostu? Hello? What is bisexual? Can you hear me? Hello? Eta thik ase? Kiba problem hoisil no majote? Okay, eta thik ase? Okay, so bisexual mane ki? Yeah, if an organism or if in an organism both the sexes are present, then it is called as bisexual condition. Yeah. Next question, choose the incorrect statement. Incorrect pair to choose koribo lagibo. Cell division in embryo increase in number of cells. So these questions that we are discussing, like it has been taken from various books and also some of the questions that has been already asked in your Neet, right? So tarpora ami just kisuman questions anisu so that you have an idea what is the type of questions that you have to read from this lesson, right? Cell differentiation. Cell differentiation ki ase? Form specialized tissue and organ. The third option is egg covered with calcareous shell oviparous animals. And the last option zygote develops outside the body in viviparous animals. So, চাৰিটা statement di ase. What you have to do is you have to select which one is the incorrect one. Read the question properly and try to answer. Option, the last one. Yes, because we know what happens in embryos that are cell division hobo, then obviously there will be an increase in number of cells. Cell differentiation mane ki? Formation of specialized tissues and organs is called as cell differentiation. Similarly, when we are talking about eggs or ki thake? Shell thake. That shell is made up of calcium and that is a characteristic of oviparous animals. But if you are talking about viviparous animals, zygote develops inside the body and not outside. Right? So, evilokwa dhoroner statements bilakor okoman properly question to poriwa and then it will become easier. Okay, the next question. Etu question ahise agote. A potato tuber is sown in a pot and the pot is placed in a freezer. New plants will, option A, emerge normally, B is not emerge, C, B without leaves, and the D is B without flowers. Question to bhalke porha. A potato tuber is sown in a pot. At a pot potato tuber that grow kori ase. Hey, potato tuber or pot to hote, you have put that inside the freezer, right? So what will happen? Plant dal hobo, plant dal nohoy. Jedi hoy leaves thakibone na thake. Jedi hoy flowers thakibone na thake. Will emerge normally. No, the answer is will not emerge. কিহৰ কাৰণে buds বিলাক হে potato tuber to bud থাকিব ন budৰ পৰা হে এটা নতুন plant হ'ব হে buds বিলাক very low temperature ত germinate নকৰে right so this is one thing that you need to remember এনেও আমি ফ্ৰিজত ভেজিটেবলছ বিলাক যে থৈ দিও কিহৰ কাৰণে থৈ দিও যাতে নেকি হি বেয়া হৈ না যায় ন ৰেসপিৰেচন ৰেটটো কমি যায় এটসেট্ৰা এটসেট্ৰা সিমিলাৰলি এটা পটেটো if you keep it outside then what will happen buds বিলাক বা sprouting কৰিবলৈ আৰম্ভ কৰিব কিন্তু যদি হেতু তুমি ফ্ৰিজত থৈ দিয়া বহুত দিনলৈকে কি থাকিব হি ভাল হৈ থাকিব so the point is if this is the condition then the buds will not germinate and why will the buds not germinate because at very low temperature the buds fail to germinate okay right just few more questions vilak korile you will become confident right jibane theory no porha kyo theory will not give you the confidence the questions and answers that you will practice will only give you the confidence right jiman question answers kora then only you will have an idea that whether you have completed the lesson or not right so I think I have said it in my first class itself try to do as many MCQs that you can right so in onion the edible swollen part is kuntu part ami khao stem leaf base underground stem ne internodes it is leaves buli kole properly answer to wrong hobo it is leaf bases right a point to mone rakhiba karon edible swollen part so edible buli kole the leaf is also edible no ami piyazor patu khao kintu edible swollen part dia ase so we have to talk about what leaf bases next question planaria possess high capacity planaria possess high capacity of alternation of generation bioluminescence metamorphosis the regeneration yeah mu khudisa ne answer koisa yeah so be confident in whatever you answer right so whenever we hear about planaria so what we remember the mode of reproduction is always regeneration right so bahut gita question korilo kiman korilo ba 10 hol aru duta man koru besi nokoru aru when seeds are attached to the parent plant the type of germination is called generally when we are talking about seeds where do the seeds germinate the seeds get detached from the parent body and only then they germinate but there are certain seeds which germinate when they are still attached with the parent body mother body ba plant body dalot lagi thakude seed to jedi notun plant dal form kore ta hey process tu ami ki boli kom that is what is the meaning of the question is the question understood right so that process would be called as ki kobo directly answer to likhi diu I think it's let's not waste our time in writing the options the answer is vivipary right our vivipary is one another point that you have to know is this is a phenomenon or this is a process that is very much commonly found in case of mangrove plants what is a mangrove plant the plant that grows in marshy or salty area that is what is called as mangrove plant no so mangrove plant dot ki hoy vivipary dekha jay So the last question kuru. The living organisms let me ask you the question. The living organisms can be differentiated from the non-living organisms on the basis of options are reproduction, growth and movement, responsiveness to touch, aru interaction with the environment and progressive evolution. Exactly, the answer would be, it will be interaction with the environment and progressive evolution, right. So, I mean, we have done so many questions, around 10 to 12 questions we have discussed, right. So, I think you all are confident about the lesson. So, here we wind up the class today. Any doubts that you have, you can bring it in the next class. Kiba doubts asil niki? I know? Next class sao more schedule ki ase, right? Well, let's see. You will get the PDF. Notes khini tumalke pai jaba. Oh, gute khini pathai dise no? Thik ase. Let's see more list out ki ase, then will come. Okay? Thank you. Welcome.